watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie. Good to see you this morning.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the front pages this morning. We're starting with this wonderful photo from the Mail on Sunday featuring the gorgeous Kate and William as they celebrate 12 years of marriage. Congratulations to them.
Having a little bike ride.
Yeah, lovely.
Yes. There you go. Now, we're talking yesterday. This picture on the left was from the Telegraph yesterday, and it's Wales HRH, the Prince of, from 1967, an 18-year-old Charles, looking like he's having a mugshot taken, frankly. But on the You magazine from the Mail on Sunday today, there's a picture of him 5 years later. So what does that make him? 23. He's grown into his looks a little bit there. It's quite a nice picture, actually.
A bit more flattering, isn't it, than the previous photo. Another great photo on the front of the Sunday Telegraph this morning depicts guardsmen at the Aldershot Garrison rehearsing 3 cheers to the King, which we called for at the end of the procession on Saturday.
Yeah.
Lifting their bearskins on high.
Yes, it should be hard to do one-handed, I should think.
I bet, yeah.
Anyway, let's talk
That's why they need the practice.
Well, exactly. Let's talk to writer and columnist Emma Wolfe and author Ella Whelan, who are both here. Good morning to you both. Emma, let's have a look at the Observer, should we? Criticising the Coast Guard over small boats.
It's a really sad story, actually. It's an Observer investigation, and it does go back to November 2021. Hundreds of migrants were effectively left to their fate. They were sort of abandoned, it seems, as UK Coast Guards ignored many distress calls. It was a tragedy of these small dinghies in really, really awful winter conditions. Around 440 people were just left adrift, and at least 27 people died. The official evidence has yet to be released, but it does raise very serious concerns over understaffing amongst the Dover Coast Guards and also a lack of vital resources. I think the small boats tragedy, the small boats crisis, has sort of obviously gone off the front pages a little bit, and as the weather gets better, it's not quite such a crisis every day, but it's still an issue, and people are still coming over and facing really appalling conditions, and we haven't really solved the crisis over that Coast Guard and the resourcing and the policing of our borders. So.
Ella, what do you make of that?
Well, I mean, it's true that a huge amount of work is done by people who that's not necessarily their job, thinking of the RNLI and charities who step in to cover the gaps that the government has left. And we know that whatever you think about the debates about immigration, it's very clear that the process of dealing with small boats still remains completely chaotic. And not only does that endanger people's lives when they're actually out in these boats, but also the way in which they're processed when they get back is completely inefficient, and it's causing a lot of problems with tensions in communities. So you just wish that the government would get it together and get some kind of plan.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know. Looking at it, I wouldn't know where to start. But somebody must do. Someone must have an idea of how to actually get this under control in terms of that processing and all the rest of it, because that's the big issue, actually.
I think it's having it even comes down to something as basic as sort of failures in filing systems. Yeah. Which sounds so crass when you're talking about people's lives and a kind of more serious issue, but actually a huge amount, particularly in relation, going back to the Windrush scandal and things like that, so much of the mistakes that happened that ruined people's lives was down to emails not being answered, files not being properly put in the right place, and basically it being a completely chaotic department of government. And you have politicians who say that they care about fixing the small boats crisis, who use tug on the heartstrings of those of us who think it's awful that people are endangering their lives and dying in the seas, but not actually doing anything concrete to fix that issue.
Let's look at the Observer. It's actually still with the Observer, Ella. Keir Starmer wants a lot of public service reform. Bolder than Blair, he says.
When will he leave Blair alone anyway? Never. But it's quite interesting because this interview's done in the Royal Crown Derby factory in the East Midlands, where Starmer is, the local elections are taking place this coming week, and then obviously we have the coronation, and Starmer is very much making a conscious effort to use, to signal that the Labour Party is interested in tradition, that it's, he likes to look at the commemorative mugs there. There's a lot of there's a lot of signalling going on here. But in terms of the plan for what this, Blair plus plan is, there's very, as you might expect, there's very little meat on the bones. I'm going through this whole article in The Observer, and the only thing related to policy that stands out is the promise that the Labour Party will restore targets for house building that the Conservatives scrapped, pledging 300,000 new houses a year. We know that is a drop in the ocean in terms of the amount of houses that need to, the amount of bricks that need to go into the ground. 300,000 is nowhere near enough to even go anywhere towards solving the housing crisis. But in terms of the NHS, in terms of the economy, the only thing he really says about the economy in this interview is that we need to become world leading in green industry.
Well, we've heard that a million times.
I know, it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you anything about
the NHS is the crucial matter, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's no, Wes Streeting from the Labour Party has made some kind of noises about the potential of changing the system of the NHS and said that we can't keep going the way it's going. But again, that hasn't been fleshed out in any kind of detail. The only other thing that is signalled in this Observer interview with Starmer is that, points out that he says he wants to change the student finance system. Obviously, in 2019, along with many other things, he promised that he would completely cut student fees and remove them altogether. He now tells The Observer that he's not going to quite do that, but that he's looking at options. So, who knows what the man's going to do? But he's looking at some nice mugs in Derby and talking about Blair again.
It's pretty underwhelming, isn't it? Like, this slogan, it's not the sexiest slogan in the world. Labour will be the party of home ownership. It's not like election winning. So, as you say, we've got the local elections on Thursday.
Mind you, slogans aren't necessarily a good thing, are they?
No, it just doesn't. It just doesn't feel. Well, again, it just feels underwhelming from Sir Keir Starmer, as usual. And these are the basics. Housing. These are the basics that any government should be willing to take on and tackle. And as you say, not much on the NHS. Really nothing, not much meat on the bones at all.
It's also interesting, just in relation to the local elections, that Labour's aspirations are quite underwhelming as well. They'd say that they hope that if they got 400 victories, that would be a good start. And out of the sort of, I think it's around 8,000 that are up for grabs, they're keeping their sort of bar very low.
Expectation management, though, isn't it? Yeah. So we have a look at the Sunday Times and slapping on the sun cream.
Yeah, and this is really important. I'm hoping that this heralds amazing weather. Apparently May is going to be super, super hot, possibly the hottest on record. Apparently today is going to be 20, 21 degrees. So let's see. But this is new guidance from the British Association of Dermatologists, so let me say that. And it's urging us to use sun protection 6 months of the year. It's not about the temperature. It's not about a finger test and going, oh, it's hot outside, I need to put on sun cream. It's about the UV index. And we know that, but it's really important because skin cancer is at record levels in this country. 1 in 5 of us will get skin cancer at some point in our lives. So dermatologists are saying from April to September, put on sunscreen every day.
I think that's a good message. I wear it every single day.
Do you?
Yeah. You have it in your moisturiser.
Wind, rain or shine. I have a separate.
You actually put it on.
Yeah. And because it's UV rays.
It's about UV.
If you're outside, you should wear sunscreen.
Especially for fair people.
So brown.
Ella, you're very, very fair. Especially for fair people.
I never wear it.
You should be wearing it every day.
I don't want to belittle skin cancer because that's obviously very serious and threatens people's lives. I'm not trying to say that, but I've always worked on the policy that I don't care if I look like a handbag when I'm 70.
But it's not about.
I'm dying just for a few more freckles. When I was a teenager, I was awful. I used to use oil and all kinds of
stuff. Oh, really? Yeah. I wear factor 50.
Nothing, be it a lesson to the viewers, nothing ever happened to me other than going red. So you're right, sunscreen is important.
Yeah. Yes. No, I just can't.
And it's not about looking like a leather handbag by the age of 70. It's about the actual damage it can do in these melanomas.
I just can't be bothered.
Yes.
To be honest.
It's sticky.
I
know. I don't like that clogging feeling. But
do you wear it?
I do when it's hot, and I, try and put it on my little one. But no, not as much as I should. I just love the feeling of a suntan. You feel so much healthier and happier and summery, don't you?
I fake it till I make it.
But you're never going to make it with factor 50 on.
Well, that's the point.
But you'll never get skin cancer either.
Hopefully not. But sun cream every day. Very easy, people. Very easy to implement.
Take a leaf out of Ellie's book.
Yeah.
If you could just spray, could you get it so you just sort of spray?
Yes.
It.
I'll link you up. Don't worry, I'll sort you out.
Because maybe that would be a good idea. But I just can't sort it.
First the fake nails, and now the sun cream. I'm getting all the recommendations.
I'm rubbing off on him, aren't I?
What do you mean fake nails?
It's the manicure, darling.
I have had.
But they are his own.
Yeah, the builder's nails. The builder's nails.
That's it.
Nails.
We've got the same nails.
The builder's nails. I'm trying to look after because I'm a nail biter. I'm a terrible nail biter.
Well, they look great now.
So it's stopping me biting my nails.
Sun cream next.
Ladies, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you a little bit later on.
Cutting edge politics here. Yeah.
Never ends.
You're surrounded today. Got an Emma, an Ella, and an Ellie.
It's horrific. Frankly.
So we need
Go home with that.
rename him.
I wish I could go to the moon.
Oh yeah.
Leave you all.
Very good. Good segue.
Thank you.
Well, it's